are on another episode of the Astoria Filmmakers Club podcast. And today's special guest is, do we go by Karen Laven or Laven?
The second one.
Laven.
Correct.
Karen the Raven Laven. All right.
How'd you know?
Well, I was excited to hear that this is by far not your first podcast.
Oh, well, I wish you wouldn't have said that because maybe she's never done it before, and then they wouldn't judge me so much. Don't judge me.
Well, I never know if people lie to me. I just go by what I hear.
Okay. Oh, good. Good to know. Okay, make a note of that. All right, let's go. When I won my Emmy. No. Oh, wait. Okay, go ahead.
It's all right. We only have like maybe 5 or 6 dozen subscribers to the AFC podcast right now, so I don't think there's going to be a lot of fact checks. So,
Great. Anyway, the Emmy was showing NBC. Yeah, I hear you. That's funny. That's good though. You guys are building. I love the dedication to your station. You guys keeping it going, and that's the only way to do it.
I did yeah. Like for me, it's been a little bit of a challenge and. Just a little bit different because I'm not a podcaster by any, sense of the definition. My background, similar to yours, is in acting, but I think just because becoming sort of like the president of the Astoria Filmmakers Club, I've met everyone, and we've had these simple one-on-one conversations, but those conversations were always like. A little bit less about them, the actor, you on the other side of the table, where we're just talking about, your background. Because I'm not a journalist or an interviewer type of person, but I've had, I think, some sort of curiosities, aspirations at one point to give that a try.
Yep, that's what it takes.
I wouldn't. I haven't got a bad. I haven't got like a bad review on the podcast yet, but hey, there's always that one guy in the comments, It's
amazing you haven't. You can have 2 people that follow you, and one is probably going to say something mean. I know that it's just that's the way it is. There's always someone going to pick it apart. So you're blessed. You must have found your niche on top of acting.
Well, it definitely wasn't on TikTok because I only had one comment ever on a video I did. And literally that was the guy that said that wasn't good. I'm like, so you went out, like you were the first guy to leave me a comment and it actually was good. I'm actually gonna insert that video that he thought that wasn't good, and you can fact check it on my TikTok. I'm gonna just put it like right here in this slot real quick. When we actually fix it up in post.
Oh, that's awesome. I love that. It's hysterical. That's so good.
I would really like everybody's feedback. That guy could SBD or something like that, SBD.
2138 4.9. Yeah, that's what it's gotten to now. What does he know? SBD.
I don't even think it was a real account. Didn't even have a profile picture.
Ooh, could be someone then.
And if it was who I think it is, I'm just gonna do this right here. Look, there we go.
Okay.
Yep, got the hat on. It's official.
Okay.
Well, there's a lot of backstory, and I'm sure on a different podcast, you're gonna fill in a lot of gaps.
Oh my gosh. Wow. Interesting. What have you, I know you're supposed to whatever, but what acting have you done? What have you, stage or?
That's how it began. Like day one, just for fun, something to do, was musical theater. Started in college, and
Wow.
That progressed, to do a play, a short film. Along that time, I was taking acting classes at college, so got the opportunity to train at a conservatory while simultaneously performing in plays over the summer. Wow. Or doing like a pickup short film for friends from college, or an independent film that they were in, and just kind of progressed. Sort of like the bread and butter job was background acting for the most part afterwards, because even when I've gone to meet casting directors, agents, and managers, I never really got that callback or that booking or signing. It just did not happen. At least not with those agents or agencies. But it's probably for me, it's a full-time commitment. And if we can't work together, do business together, make a living together, and honestly, like tear this up and have fun, then
Yes.
I don't want to like, you shouldn't just overcommit to the idea of something because it is a marriage. You should treat it like one and expect the best, but you got to put in the work as well,
It's so true. And not giving up is so true. I get you. And I do think that's a huge difference. There's so many talented people. I've done the, community theater, all that stuff, and, moving my way up. And I was amazed how many people, like you'd have like a 72-year-old woman playing the whatever. I'd never done it before, the stage hands, aunt, and be fabulous. I mean, just literally like, and I've always thought that too, it's the people that just, you have to be good. You have to be basically pretty good unless you're completely gorgeous. But then you do have to just keep going because the doors are going to shut far more than they're ever going to open. You got to be able to deal with it or you'll never make it. And I think that's exactly your tenacity is what'll, get you there.
My mother always called me tenacious,
There you go.
But literally, like I remember when I played, I played sort of like an in-between football league where I was in college, but it was like a private league for collegiate players in the summer league. And it was an opportunity for me to actually potentially go to college and play college football. And she wrote me a really nice card and she just signed it tenacious,
Oh, that's awesome. I love that.
For the longest time, I had that card too.
Oh, yeah. That's a keeper for sure. Yeah. I love football, but we'll let that one go. But
you don't have to let it go. We could talk about it. You got to have
get me going.
All right. So not about football, but how about maybe a favorite football film or something like that?
Well, a favorite, not necessarily. I think Rudy was okay. One of the favorite sports films have you seen Brian's Song?
I was just going to say that with James Caan. I swear to God.
Yes.
I was literally just going to say that.
I watched it with my mother probably 4 times. And that's back then when you had to figure out, it's on Saturday at 2 and we'd get up and, it was so good.
That's a tearjerker. And unfortunately, last year we actually lost James Caan. He passed away.
Yeah. Oh, I'm sorry. I'm blocking the sun. Can you tell?
Yeah, I get that. No, it looks great.
I loved him. He's so good. Is this too annoying or should I try to plug it up again?
Nah, it'll probably sound amazing on Castbox or wherever the iTunes people are listening in on.
Oh, geez. Oh, okay. Yeah, well, they can just guess. It's a moth. Around here it could be. So, yeah. Do you have a favorite football movie?
That's hard.
It is.
No, it is. It's hard because as a football player, I get triggered when I'm watching football, and not like PTSD triggered, but like jacked up, hair on the back of my neck, stick up. I get tunnel vision, and I'm very engaged. Like Little Giants is my all-time favorite football movie with Al Bundy and I'm going to Rick Moranis. Yes. So that is definitely by far my all-time favorite football movie because you got a bunch of kids and that was my that was my prime time love of the game where it all started. I just love the game. Any Given Sunday was a phenomenal one. I love like Al Pacino's speech. It gets me very emotional. I cried my ass off because in my senior year is when Friday Night Lights came out, the movie, and I'm like, oh shit, I'm a senior, I'm done. I felt that way too because I never I did not have the grades to go to college. Like I was like in special ed my whole life. It was a real downer, and just like a tough pill to swallow, saying that was it, and I had my defensive MVP football trophy, for so long. And it's like, I'm looking at it every single day. And it always was that one kind of like vision board type of moment where you had that on your mind every single day saying you are that player, but I just didn't have a platform to do it. But in 2009, literally 4 years after I played football, there was a collegiate development football league that one of my old high school friends' father and coach knew me, wanted me to come try out for the league, and I got in.
Wow.
And
that's awesome.
it was great. And I actually did well, and I could play with these guys, and they were all just as hungry as me. It was a league for 18 to 24-year-olds where like we get a second chance. And I was just starting out in theater at the time. And unfortunately, like in the playoffs, I blew out my hamstring.
Oh, Lord.
And that was my fault. I had no idea that could ever happen, but I was I was very dehydrated for like that whole like months prior, compared to like where you really got to treat yourself. And my body had changed in 4 years. I wasn't used to the impact. And intuitively in playmaking, it was still like right there. And these guys are big, they're strong, they're fast. And I had a blowout. I just and I couldn't believe it. It was such a heartbreaking thing, you know?
How long had you been in 1 year yet, or when the hamstring went? How long were you playing at that point?
It was on the back end of the summer. As far as my career, like I played my entire life as a kid, but right. I had already turned 22 years old, and I hadn't played since I was 17 years old, my senior year, turning 18. Crazy. So it was a bit of a jump, you know?
That's a huge jump.
That's a jump.
You weren't playing consistently, and to play along with guys that have been doing that, that's amazing.
And my chiropractor that I'd known since I was a kid mentioned, your body gets used to like not taking a beating, and you go back into that. You're not built for that, that's especially true. When you're doing that for a decade, you know?
That's true. That's absolutely true. Oh my gosh. So it was a blessing and a curse kind of, but you did realize you were good.
I think about it more as a blessing now, because I had tunnel vision, and like I wanted to play college ball. That was the only thing I wanted to do as far as like ever go to college. I'm not a studious person. Like I just love the game so much where I wanted to be around it, be a part of it, and play. And I remember still wanting that for myself, but I wanted to go play for like maybe a Division III school, Division II school, just so I wasn't a red shirt, where I could actually like get my reps in and play the game. Yeah. But I remember, especially since like multiple injuries happened that redirected my path, because on a previous podcast, I discussed how I got into acting to begin with. And that was because I was supposed to go play college football, but I got injured in a basketball game that pretty much put me in a cast and a shoulder injury that was worse than I thought. A few years later, after the surgery, playing football in the CDFL, I didn't even feel it. My shoulder was fine. And like I already had surgery at that point. Structurally, I was fine. Just mechanically, it's just like, all right, I'm not going to do the flea flicker. I'll just make the tackle. But it seemed like every time I got injured, it just kept me in alignment to stay on the path I'm at now, which was something to do with film, theater, acting. And it's always been freaky weird. Because every time I quit this gig, like I'm done, this is not for me. Something pulled me back in. And even when I'm committed to something else, like committed to anything else, committed, that would end brutally, you know?
Oh, yeah.
And it would just somehow bring me back here. And I'm like, all right, I might as well have a podcast and talk about it.
That's great. And I never would have known any of you. You're very professional. You seem very knowledgeable, and you know how to spiel and do all this stuff totally journalistically.
Oh, thanks. I guess we can make it a lot more about you now then.
Oh, no. Very interesting. I'm intrigued. Real quick, it's how many players do you know of? I'm sure you can notice that get injured on the off season when they're playing softball or base. Do you know what I'm saying? When they're doing that for even the charity game, or just doing it with their friends or baseball, they get injured doing the other sport. Literally huge, that affects their upcoming football season. It's just amazing to me. It just seems athletes are athletes, and they always want to try something more and new, and you know.
Well, we definitely can't sit still, you know.
Yeah.
I don't think it's a matter of immaturity or irresponsibility, but just like an accident 9 times out of 10. Other than Plaxico Burress accidentally shooting himself in the leg, and it's like, oh, there goes our next Super Bowl. All right. Little things.
Right. Yeah. Well, that could be technically called a sport, whatever. Okay.
Shoot it. Yeah. You know, shooting or whatever they call it. Shooting. Yeah.
Yeah, killing. Oh, no, whatever.
Whoops a daisy. All right. Cowboys and Indians. I don't know. But I have known like a blessing where a guy did get hurt when I was a freshman in high school. It ended his football career, but like less than 10 years later, he became the mayor of our hometown. So little things like that.
Yep.
And he was a Flash. Like he was actually called Flash Roddy. Like
Oh Lord.
he was a jet. Like he was he flew down the field, but he somehow twisted his leg the right way, which ruptured his hamstring or his hip flexor in such a way, or his calf, where that was it. He had a blowout. And this guy was a wrestler. Like this guy could wrestle and win. You know, he was an athlete. The kid was a stud in our age group and weight class. And years later, he became the mayor of our hometown, Goshen, New York. Just couldn't believe it.
Hang in there. I think that's you never know what it's supposed to be or what's coming up.
Well, I think like to what you were saying, a blessing in disguise. And I spoke about it once before, like Michael J. Fox mentioned once in a while, like getting Parkinson's was the best thing that ever happened to him. And I think you got to live it to understand it, because everybody has a different like idea of what you want for your life, but you don't know what's going to happen. And it almost happens for you. And you could call it life, because it does. It shapes you. And it's not happening to you to affect you, to bring you down. That's not what it's for. It actually is for you, but it's your job to figure it out.
That's brilliant. Hate to say it. Don't get a big head. Don't get a bigger head. But that's a great mindset. That's a great mindset for anybody at whatever they're doing in life and at whatever point they are in life. Profound.
Have you like always been in the arts yourself? And at this point in your life, you kind of feel like you've accomplished quite a bit?
You never feel like, well, I don't. It's never enough. I think of all the stuff I don't get, all the stuff I didn't do exactly the way I wanted. I can't watch half the stuff I do. I mean, it's just, I look for and I try my best and do that. But for me, I came out of the womb just like this. I went to Catholic grade school.
Look at me, I'm here.
Yeah, pretty much, yeah, because I was a little active, but went to a Catholic grade school and Catholic with the nuns and all the whole thing. And I got out of class for 6th grade and 7th grade for like, I don't know, a couple months. I wrote my own plays, produced them, started them, and cast them. And I would, pick the kids that weren't maybe so popular and put them in roles and do things. And that I'm proud of that I did. I've had the parents come up to me, afterwards and say, thank you for having our daughter. And I'm like, she does great, or he did great, or whatever. But being able to do that shows, and I was totally like shy and all that kind of stuff. But it was like you said, it's in you. That's it. It's there. And I just thought, why can't I do this? And somehow they let me do it, which was incredible back then, a long time ago.
So you're
always, just stuff like that. And I've been writing and doing poetry, and I worked for newspapers for 7 years in Minnesota. Then we moved to Cincinnati area, and I've been writing books, doing that. And then in here too, like you said too, especially with the COVID thing, with the, voice acting stuff, I just went, well, if I'm gonna, because my son's a streamer and he had some equipment, if you want to do it. So he set me up, I'm just going to give it a shot, and just stick with it for a while. And it's been pretty good. But like I say, depends what day you ask me.
Oh, so he was more into video games. So or that type of streaming type of things.
It is video game things, but he's on YouTube too. He's got several, whatever. Yeah. So Oh, and that's from a thing. That's not a fun thing. The weird green screen thing. It's for a thing for, it's just a teleprompter thing for, it's for a special project, but it's too hard for me to move. So I thought you can deal with it. So, but,
I'm sure I got a really good editor, and he's
good.
He could probably put a potato behind you or something like that if you
in front of me with sour cream. I'm good. That'd be great.
Well, what was becoming like a journalist like for you, or was that it? Were you like editing or field reporting, anything like that?
Feature writing. I worked for 2 different newspapers, but my forte was feature writing. So I'd go, and like I said, very shy, even had bouts of agoraphobia. And I'd go and I had to find new stories every week. I did actors, artists, farmers, whatever. I'd come up with an idea and I'd hound them till they, and I'd take the photos and do the features. And that was, I realized then I have a passion for, well, I always kind of have, but I love hearing what people's passion is. Why do you love, working with marble, or why do you, I literally love it. And I love sharing when they're so excited and things like that. So I missed that part of it. But so I did that. And then, when my husband got transferred out here, then I went more to books. I had written a couple books, in
So
Minnesota, but
now you're also an author, novelist as well?
Yeah.
Oh, great.
Laven.net. Yeah.
I did see your website. I just didn't recognize the titles of your books.
Oh, thanks.
Yeah,
You're number one somewhere in my heart.
Were these like ghost stories or anything like that? You got
Cincinnati Ghosts and Dayton Ghosts it's more like my feature writing thing. I interviewed people, went and took photos, went and talked to them, that kind of a thing. So that was their stories told to me just like the other way. And so is Dayton Ghosts. And then there's the other books I've written are fiction and humor. Gotcha. So yeah.
Did you ever convert those to the stage like the old days?
I've written a couple of screenplays actually, but convert for the stage. No, I did write my own. There's a True Theater here. I think they have it everywhere in major cities. In Cincinnati, it's called True Theater, and they had you had to audition to do your own piece. It was like 15 minutes. You had to write it yourself, do it without notes, and go up and do it. And I did it on my agoraphobia in my life, my shyness, and I wrote it and did it on stage, and that was very, very amazing. One of the best experiences of my life.
So like stage fright, did you have to kind of overcome it as an actress before you went into the field, or did they kind of go hand in hand where they kind of rubbed off and left eventually because they were both chipping away at it?
It's still here. Stage fright's right behind me with the potato. I totally still, everything I do, I have to really, you have to understand, 20 years ago, I was afraid to walk to the end of the driveway to get the mail, to the end of the driveway, let alone, be, on stage, do this, be in film, whatever. And I realized, and that's what made me really reach out and do the newspaper stuff, was I had to make myself do it one way or the other. I had two small boys and I'm like, I don't want them to see a mom that's huddling in here and afraid of life. And it's hard. And I still I ebb and flow with that. I've got a bunch of talks coming up, and those are, library things on, Cincinnati Ghosts and Dayton Ghosts, and then you have to show all this stuff, but they're right there. And people are like, that to me is almost more difficult than things that have been nationally, whatever. It's just staring, doing it. It's my thing. It's my book. It's my whatever. But every time I say, why did I do this? Why did I say I would do this? Why am I doing this? And then when I'm done, I'm like, oh, that's the best. I couldn't do anything else. So I don't know what you call it besides nuts, but it's all wrapped up in here.
It's like tip of the tongue, but there was a Pixar movie with the 5 personalities that were joy, fear, anger, sadness, and of course envy. Oh my God, I can't believe I'm messing this up. But it seems like you had this one personality person in charge that's always kind of that little purple leader where it's literally, and you're wearing purple.
Yeah.
That you're literally the person controlling at the helm is just oh, I'm scared of everything. Why am I doing this? And then all of a sudden you find joy.
But I definitely, it's a thing. I just very, I'm like I said, out of the womb that way. But like you talked about earlier, your point about pushing forward, pushing through, having that goal, don't let yourself down. That's the big thing to me. Even if people, oh, you didn't, whatever. But if I know that I didn't quite put in what I should have or tried to this extent, even to submit audition things, it just depends. I'm like, oh, that's good enough. Sometimes, and I know it's, I should redo it. So it's the best I can do, which I try to do more and more now, but there's still times I do that. So I'm my world's worst everything. It's just always, every day it's a struggle, but I think I'm a little over the top that way, but I think a lot of people are somewhere in there, especially in this business, when you're trying to do, voice acting, whatever, speaking, any of that stuff, you just I have to keep on myself. We'll put it that way.
Where were you born? Where'd you grow up?
I was born in Minneapolis, Minnesota. Go
Minnesota?
Vikings.
The land of 10,000 lakes.
And loons and 10,000 mosquitoes plus a million. Yes.
I've been to Minneapolis. Yeah.
It's gorgeous. It's very cold and it can get very hot, whatever, but the lakes it's just stunningly beautiful and the people are great, So yeah, I grew up there, but my first 5-6 years were in Santa Monica, California. So I remember, going to the Santa Monica Pier, and my aunt lived right off there, and I miss the Pacific Ocean and I miss the lakes. I guess I'm a water person. So I miss the ocean from LA and I miss the lakes from Minnesota. And now I'm in Burlington, Kentucky.
Oh, all right. I just had somebody else.
Guess that? No.
I mean, like I just had a guest, I think Grinnell. He did a podcast recently. I'm almost 100% sure he was born in Ohio, and he pretty much like grew up in Kentucky.
Yes, that's it. And my husband worked in Ohio for most of the years we were here because we're right across the river from Cincinnati. So, Burlington is really a Cincinnati. It's in the Cincinnati market. So it's more like.
I didn't know they were that close.
Very close. Yeah.
I don't look at a map ever anymore. My vision board is like the names of all the projects that we're going to try and make. And like, we're doing it eventually.
Well, you can just add Kentucky Burlington and Cincinnati aren't that far apart.
I think like Kentucky is a musical because I know that just the sound of it is like Kentucky. That's a musical waiting to happen. And I don't think KFC is the best thing to ever come out of Kentucky, like for fried chicken. No. I do know that Kevin from the Backstreet Boys was from Kentucky.
There's a George Clooney.
Clooney, yes.
Rosemary Clooney, and what's her face? Diane Sawyer. There's some really deep, what's her, Jennifer Lawrence, the young, is it Jennifer?
Oh, I thought J-Law, I thought she was from Cali.
She's from Kentucky, not J-Lo.
Yeah, J-Law, like J. Like,
oh yeah, I'm sorry.
That was a Will Ferrell reference where it's like, J-Law. Oh,
yeah. So there's tons of whatever, but it's a very different kind of a thing. And frankly, I love that the winters aren't 30 below and I don't know 150 million inches of snow. Do you know how many emails I've gotten this winter from my Minnesota people? Just look at this. Look at this, it's over my head, the whole, and I'm like, yeah, okay. And then I'm on the deck and I send them a picture of the buds coming up. That's the funnest part, that's not over, but whatever. Yeah.
So down by you, it's a little bit, it actually feels like spring, even at night.
Oh, we had the door open. Yes. And sometimes I'm still hot. We're at 80 and it's just, and what I love is we will get a little bit of snow and it's often like right around Christmas. So I get that because, I'm from that. And I get that little feel and then it melts the next day or the day after. That's what I'm talking about, and actually our summers are not as humid feeling as Minnesota's, believe it or not. And we're supposedly the South. So, you just don't know. And we have way less mosquitoes here. There's no comparison. No, no, we don't even have them. We're on deck, nothing, no problem. So there's good points for both places. That as you always think of nostalgically, and I miss my family, but.
Oh, I get it.
Are you from New York?
Yeah, born in Brooklyn.
Oh, cool.
Yeah. Grew up sort of like in the Catskill region. If you could actually say that I grew up, but I can't agree. I moved back to the city, for conservatory training, and can't believe I got into acting school. That still kind of, blows my mind that it's like, an accomplishment, or it's like, wow,
that's an accomplishment. That's huge.
Yeah, I did do it.
That's awesome.
I got a certificate on my wall. It's pretty cool.
It is.
And I, came back home for a minute to kind of just, reset. And then back in 2013, I moved to Astoria, Queens. Or I was actually technically, I landed here like on a couch in
Well,
2000.
that's how most people went. Yeah.
In 2014. And for at least another year and a half of being on that couch, I was pretty much just figuring it out in little old Astoria, Queens. And just
awesome.
took another 4 or 5 years to figure out, am I going to do this for another 4 or 5 years? So I just started hosting meetups for myself. And fun fact about Astoria, it's actually called Actoria because every single actor in the industry in the city of New York, the majority at least, they all live in Astoria, Queens. And going to Astoria, I had no idea when I first landed here. That was just kind of something I learned over the course of time of seeing the neighborhood, going out once in a while. And it was just one of those freaky things. And it just kind of occurred to me then, how do we get to know everybody in the industry if there's nobody getting together in the industry? And literally that's how the AFC came to be, because everybody lives in the neighborhood, but we don't know each other. And to me, that's kind of ridiculous. Like when I was growing up in Brooklyn, early 90s, everybody on the block knew each other, and I was that little baby learning how to ride his bike. Everybody on the block knew who I was. There was not like, so I mean, that's just
so cool.
That's the culture of New York. But when I moved to Queens, especially when I grew up upstate, we all knew each other, even the town itself, a small town. We know each other. No doubt about it.
Like it or not, we do. Yep.
It's not that small of a town of like 13, 14, 7,000 people. We all have met. All right. So we have. It's a very small town, but it's got a few numbers. But you meet. There's only 5 bars at the center light in the Village of Goshen. Like you're gonna cross some paths. You're gonna recognize some people, and then coming to Astoria, like in 2014, it's like nobody really knows each other. Not really, because the majority of people living in Astoria were not born or raised in Astoria. Not the majority. It's kind of strange. Like it's a couple 100,000 people living in that neighborhood, like right there. I'm like, 7,000, 200,000. What's the big deal? Nobody actually really knows each other. Not even the people that actually work together in the industry. And all I did was invite people to dinner. And we would eat dinner on Wednesdays, have a beer on Wednesdays. Did that for a few months before the pandemic. 100 people show up. Okay, now we all know each other. What do you want to do? All right, so we started a nonprofit, and here we are 3 years later. And that's
I love it. That is a great story. That's a great Astoria. You got to Astoria. You got to keep it going. That's awesome. I can feel the energy here. I think it's a good vibe.
Oh, thanks. I drank my coffee, had a good meal today, so I got a little extra energy. So I'm feeling it. Last night, I got so tired. Like I normally have just like a 45-minute, 1 hour conversation, but me and this young lady, Natalie, she's from the Georgia area, and I don't know what happened. It became a 2.5 hour conversation, and it was the last thing I had to do of the evening. But oh my God, I couldn't even remember Die Another Day. We were talking about James Bond. I couldn't even remember. Yep. I could not even remember the name Christopher Nolan, and I remember the things I could not remember when I.
Second you get up, yeah.
There was no starter fluid to just open up that box. I was.
Yeah. I totally can relate to that. It's so much fun, Well, it's great that you're, I love the connection thing. The connection is so important. And you're right. So many places don't. I know more and more people now in acting, stuff. I've done films and things here. But it does take, and there's a lot of people I don't know. I think your idea, it makes a lot of sense, to do that in the area that you're in. And as long as you have each other's back, that's, I think a lot of people are worried, why would I want to, whatever, they're up for the same roles I am. But you know what, that's also, they know how you feel too, though, it's like you can, if you really, really honestly support people, I think it comes back to you the right way anyway. So I love the idea.
Karma's real, no doubt
Mhm.
about it. No,
It
that is very real.
Totally is. You don't want to get off that. You really don't. Try to tell yourself it isn't, because it is, you know.
Welcome to Happy Corner. This project strives to make safe housing areas for stray cats at an affordable price. It's so easy to put together that even your children could have fun making one. Help keep cats and other animals safe with their own little Happy Corner homes. You can help this project become a reality by donating to the GoFundMe page. Happy Corner homes are a great way to show those animals in need it's okay to be happy.
Well, what's the industry like down there in Kentucky? Like, is it more film, theater, voiceover work?
A lot of stuff I do is in Cincinnati and you know, a little further up in there. Cincinnati's the most like commercial, and a couple commercials there. And then the last film I did actually was even further north. It was closer to like Athens, Ohio. That was the Mothman movie I did. And that was really cool. So yeah, I'm meeting more and more. But you know what I find? That's interesting you say that. I was like, oh, I get to meet, you know, another filmmaker that's from this area, you know. And I'm like, go Bengals, because I'm an idiot. But you know, and he didn't say anything, you know. So I just, oh, whatever. And then I get there, and he's from Illinois, and the cinematographer's from North Carolina. So and there was a couple actors that were in there that were kind of from around the area, but it really wasn't what I thought it was. It really was. And they flew in someone from New York, whatever your neck of the thing. So it wasn't quite like that. But I have met some nice people, you know. But there's not that many projects around here, you know, to really. So my big thing is, like I said, the thing with the pandemic and stuff and getting into this, the voice thing that I've been able to do just from here. And, you know, and that's been great.
Good. So how about these screenplays you wrote? Did you ever feel like maybe going to Georgia with them, finding somebody, or out to LA, New York?
You know, you look at them and I don't want to, I wrote them with my best friend, and years ago, like, I don't know how many years ago, but she's had films optioned, you know,
Wow.
and produced. And the one was with, now we're to the, can't think of the name, but Bill Pullman, I believe. But so she really, you know, I've always been a writer, but she was really into, it was interesting, our connection. She introduced me more into script writing and screenwriting, and I introduced her into, and she started writing books, you know, and things like that. So we both kind of played off each other, but it was like, yeah, I look at them now, and they're, you know, registered and all this thing, but it's like, I don't know if it would hold up. I don't know. You know, you don't want to be, it's just that it's so different now. I mean, it's just even from, you know, 15, 20 years ago, it's just the whole consumerism of films and things like that. You know, ours were pretty simple, very funny, I believe, you know, and well written. And one of the filmmakers, I had him read it, and he said it was extremely well done. He almost seemed like he was interested, but I thought, I don't know. They're there. I did them, like you said, you know, you have your thing and I have my thing, and the memories of working with her. But yeah.
Or do you feel like it may not hold up very well, like modern time?
You know, I don't see it. The one is in an old folks home where all these different people connect. They end up having to do a horror film because they're going to try to win a contest. It's everything they do is ridiculous. And you see the string when they're trying to pull the wheelchair to get the one woman into it was all just over the top, you know, kind of like Scary Movie, but with, you know, old people and, you know, a comedy, whatever. And just, so we had so much fun writing that. So I don't know if it would, I don't know. And the other one was more about a trucker, a life of a trucker who was in a reality show. And we just went to the hill with that too, just over the top parody, you know.
It was like Sylvester Stallone type of over the top.
Yeah, it's just ridiculous. Yes, everything we could just push a little further, we did, and that was one of the directors for the news around here read that, and he had people read it and they really liked it. But that happens, but to get it through past, it's almost impossible, not that I haven't tried too much, but I don't know.
I mean,
I'm thinking about it.
I mean, it's like, I hope so. I mean, join the club.
Yeah.
The funny thing is, it's like, when readers, Barnes and Noble, like really well publishing bookstores were even like, unfortunately, not as common as they are today.
Mm-hmm.
It's interesting, but even to this day, if, there's countless authors that self-publish,
Mm-hmm.
But even though like maybe they're not a part of like Penguin House Productions or something like that, publishing organization where it's going to be on the top shelf, it's going to be in like 1 million books, New York Times bestseller type of thing, you still got 1 million people self-publishing books that they're producing their content and their work. But why do you think it's a little bit more complicated, I guess, to do something similar with a film?
That's interesting. You really do have me thinking. And it's like my first 5 or 6 books were traditionally published. I never self-published. I got published by, that kind of thing. Not Penguin House, just, little independent publishers, which I was proud of. But I see what you're saying. It's just, I don't know.
Lionsgate used to be a very small little publishing cinema house, once upon a time. And now they're actually, Lionsgate.
Yeah.
Kind of a little bit of a contender. They got
slightly.
They got a couple movies under their belt.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm. I think that's true too. I know what you said before is going in my head about just the connection too. That's like, I think if I feel like I want to, get some feedback more, like if I can find, other local filmmakers, there's so many, but it's just, the vision, and then how does that work and all that kind of a stuff. But just the connection to, run it past people that have the mind for it. Yeah. And can understand, and they'll tell you whether they think, you got something there or don't, but it's still like, it's always just overwhelming. I pick overwhelming things to go for just because I'm me.
Well, I know you might have had like people read it for their feedback, but have you ever heard it out loud and had somebody read through it with you, or like put a cast together and just like, let's read a script?
No.
Why? Come on. That's the second phase out. That's your second hour. Like you could have done that the same day. Come on.
Gosh,
are you shy? Like, I know you're shy, but it's like
I am.
You're brave enough
to scream.
You're brave enough to publish a book or get it published and then your own, and then you write a script, not just one but 2. But you don't want to sit back and listen to somebody actually act it out, something.
I'd love to, actually. I think that would be even just, now I understand, because you see things for, locally audition to read a script by a playwright, and you just go, like you said, and I understand the appeal, even if the play isn't picked up at that time or whatever, just to have your words come to life,
Well, it's not, is there like a little bit of nostalgia when you actually hear your work? Or how about Audible? You ever get your books recorded?
You know what? This is really weird. I don't think they're on there, but I just got a thing from Amazon like 2 days ago saying that my book, just what's it called? I'm sorry, I'm losing my, Quit Bugging Me. It's a middle grade, funny sci-fi kind of a thing, is now in Kindle Unlimited. Oh, it's for this month or whatever. You can read it free. And I went, and I'm going, and then I'm like, wait a minute. Did I ever, because that was a publisher or whatever, and he gave me the rights and everything, but I was like, did I ever do that? And I asked my husband, he goes, yeah, no, I don't know. I don't remember actually. So I don't know if they did it or if I did it and I'm that ditzy, but so, yeah, I don't know. And I think the other books for the Kindle part are on, but I don't think there's Audible. But I'd love to do something like that if I had the right If I wrote something that, that was humorous and,
Well, okay.
comes from my heart and just, I would have a blast doing it. That's the actors in me.
Do you have the right to read your own book and record yourself doing it and potentially sharing it?
For some of them, yes.
There you go.
For the ghost books, no, I don't think, but yeah, I could. Okay. It's another.
That's all it took is just 10 minutes, a 10-minute conversation to just sort of like, click out. That's it. I talked to Phil. He said I should do this. And then
Phil, you got me thinking.
Scapegoat.
You really got me thinking. You're good.
I do have I do have that effect on people.
You do.
No, I do. I have that effect. I do.
I mean, you veered right into that's crazy. That's very, very interesting. I will keep you abreast if I move forward with this because it kind of excites me to even think about doing it.
Well, I think that's like that's more. I mean, like that's joy. That's purpose driven. That's destiny right there. Especially when you get that sense of I'm alive. That excitement. Life as we know it gets kind of boring, shitty until all of a sudden you feel that heat of the moment of passion where it's just like, wait, that's I'm the origin of that thing I'm feeling passionate about. So it's self-sustainable. So why not pursue it?
That's really cool. And speaking of my books, did you see the one, the other 23 days?
Oh, on your website?
Yeah.
That
was my passion project. That was my idea. The publisher asked me to do a book on ideas for kids' birthday parties. And I gave him this book and he loved it.
23
someone that believed, yes. And it has
feminine hygiene
that you use in any place, but it's alternative uses.
All right.
There's a crap load, the thing with the, the pads, the shoulder pads, all that. I mean, I was on fire. I had everyone involved that I knew posing for pictures like tampon curlers, things like that. And they work really well. All this kind of stuff. And then Hunter guy going, did you know that we use tampons in the field to put on the deer thing? And then they come to the trees. And I'm like, oh, okay, I'll put that. It was so cool and amazing and fun. And it really still never kind of took, I've been approached by some people that have read it that have really found me and said, oh my God, but has it done what I thought it would, or hoped? No, but it was a passion project. So,
it has over 180 alternative uses.
Mm-hmm.
Did you think of every single one of them or
everyone?
Everyone. There's not like 20 more that somebody else is like, you forgot something.
Well, I knew when I wrote it, I said, I'm going to my whole life till I die. This is every time I see a thing that a tampon would work, like the nose thing or something, or, a pad to clean the floor.
Oh my God. You just kind of made me think of a soccer game and a mom is like she's a legit soccer mom and it's embarrassing, but she has a tampon with her just in case, but her kid knows. And it's just like, I'm sorry here. I'm just trying to help. And he is the kid with the tampon thing in his nose.
Yes, he'll never forget that he had. Hopefully there's lots of pictures.
Not a single person in that field that would ever let that kid forget that.
I'm sorry. I love it. My kids posed for stuff for the book too. They were just, also one of those works perfect for a kid of the large, what you call them, maxi pads, and it sticks right to their clothes and give them chocolate cake and then their shirt will be fine. It
pulls it out.
You just tape, the maxi pad has the sticky side. You just place that on the child's little chest, give them chocolate cake and then remove it and all the stuff's on there and they're perfect looking. And so it doesn't go all over the place.
Did you have an alternative number one use other than using mascara for mascara purposes, but for one other alternative?
For mascara?
I'm almost 100% sure it's mascara. It's the stuff for your eyelids or your eyelashes.
Yeah.
That's mascara?
Yes.
It's got like a little brush on it, not so much the pointy thingy. All right, yeah, mascara. Like, did you ever have any young tween boys ever tell you a story about what they use mascara for?
Oh Lord, no, I did not.
So
Uh,
no, I want you to go first because you're the author.
no, you tell me.
All right. So all right. This is what I did when I was in the 7th grade.
Oh God, help me.
I remember the 7th grade. That was a fun year. So
For everyone.
like everybody was kind of developing, and I'm this I'm kind of developing, but I'm becoming more rounded. I don't know, I don't know. I was just starting to get I was always between weight classes, unless I was in football season, I would make weight, but then the Italian American I am, I would become this little butterball. I would become the fat kid.
Yep.
All right.
My
So
too. I grew out of it.
But I was kind of the kid out of the group because I couldn't really fit in because I don't know, I just always felt like maybe I'm just developing too slow. So some kids were developing mustaches, other women had bras, or young girls had bras. Some had their braces finally after all those years taken off, things like that. And I'm like, I don't know. I remember this one kid on the wrestling team. He had a mustache, and I just thought it was so cool. So my mom worked for Mary Kay, and she
was so big back then.
It really was back in the mid 90s. It was huge, or late 90s. I think it was 98, 99. So she had a lot of extra ones. I doubt she would have noticed it was missing. So once in a while, I would just kind of see if I had I would go so close and just look if there's anything there that I could just touch and dab. And I did what I could. So I would just go in reverse, I'm getting underneath the hair to just see if it's giving a little peach shadow. So I would sometimes have a little shadow line coming in, and sometimes not have a little shadow line coming in. And I said it before, Little Giants is my favorite movie. And that one kid, he put the makeup little Chinese kid.
Yes.
Who was the kicker. He put the shoe polish on his eyes, but then when we cut to him later, he did a full beard, and then he did Marx Brothers stuff. So I couldn't quite get the mustache right, but every once in a while I would really practice, and I would do my whole face, try to figure it out.
Gosh.
And then I would look at my eyebrows and just be like, good, oh, there's hair. I'll just make those darker. And I think maybe going through puberty, ever since I did that, I just had these eyebrows ever since. I'm sure it washed out a little bit, but they kind of got stuck that way.
And that is so cute. Did your mom ever?
This is if she hears this podcast, it might be the first time she hears about it.
So she honestly, you're her child, sometimes had, and then sometimes not. Just
I don't think if she did say it, I must have blocked it out because I don't think she ever said a word about it.
Oh my God, that's crazy, isn't that? I'm not even going to say. I thought we were going to go somewhere else, literally, and I'm really glad you stayed where you did.
Oh, I mean,
you were in the shower, so I thought, is he gonna? Did the boys do that? Don't even.
I got made fun of when kids in school found out about it, and it was Division III football, and people were asking me the oddest question. They knew I couldn't shave, I didn't have anything coming in. Some of them could, but all of a sudden I got a random question saying, "Hey Phil, do you have a bush?" And I'm like, "What?" So I finally figured out, thanks to my oldest cousin, what a bush was, and eventually mascara. I started playing there too.
Oh my
yeah.
God. Oh my
I got one.
Why did I have to even? I will never learn.
So my mom lost 5 more bottles of mascara.
Oh my gosh. That many, huh? All right, we'll let that go.
7th grade was a long year.
No, I'm not. Okay.
No, I made the bush part up, but people were asking me if I did. I'm like,
but seriously, just when I just went to boys, just wow. Okay, I guess if you do it, and I'm not going to give boys any ideas. Okay, don't do that, boys. Okay.
I think I did do it once in the 10th grade when I had no hair on my chest and I had one here. I would just paint that one. I did do that. It's just
point that an arrow. Here is my Uno. That's all, but
I don't. I got very little to no hair at all, like on my chest, like none. I got very thick hair on my head. I just did get a haircut, but it's getting kind of gray now, you know.
And
Like
you say you're Italian, huh?
I am Irish.
No hair
Italian.
on your chest.
No,
Wow.
I don't know if the Irish in me is a little bit more like
There you go.
I do got fair skin. Like for me to actually
Yeah.
really be in season, get a little bit of sun or tan, I burn pretty quick, but eventually that first
You don't
layer.
want to do that though. You don't want to get this kind of stuff. That's you sound Irish skin and Irish chest.
Yeah, all right. And I guess the rest is Brooklyn mutt, you know.
There you go.
Truly,
Sounds
truly
good.
that's personality.
Yeah.
But did you have like, I don't know, like an all-time favorite movie, something that, you know, just kind of like, do you ever get like inspired to become an actress, like through film or an actress?
The biggest thing for me, and this is really going to date me, but it's not. Jerry Lewis.
Oh, really?
Jerry Lewis. I can redo his scenes when he's in the thing and his arms go. I had, and when I, on the floor with his, he just made me laugh. Like I said, childhood was tough. So Carol Burnett, Lucille Ball.
Oh, really? Well, yeah, Lucille Ball. She's an absolute treasure.
Yeah, but Carol Burnett, I would, sneak and look under the door. I was supposed to be in bed and watch her show. It was just, yeah, stuff like mostly the ones that were funny and made me feel better and made people laugh. If people laughed, and I heard my folks laugh and I laughed or what, just anyone. And then it just, it just made me feel better and things like that. And just, I'm like, I want to do something like that. So, but I'm a sucker for movies and stuff, but it's like, not necessarily like, I'm not like, oh, Gone with the Wind forever and that's it. Or, the Over the Rainbow one. I've done, it's just, sometimes they'll hit me in a spot while I'll watch a movie, like Old Yeller. Have you ever seen that? The original one.
I got that movie from my one of my godmothers when I was 12. And of course, like I'm a dog lover. And of course, I didn't know.
Was it the original though, or was it the remake? Because the one I saw, it was black and white. It was the first one, and I don't know what it was.
I did see the same one in black and white and in color, where like it's the same cast from Swiss Family Robinson.
Yeah. Okay. All right. Yeah. But it just depends on where in my life it would hit me. But I'm also a big I'll be crying and whatever if it's a good movie and whatever.
Every dog movie I watch, I end up crying for some reason. Because
any animal. Oh yeah, little kids can get run over, and my boys, if they hear a cat yelp or whatever in the film or something, we're not watching this. This isn't right. Anytime it's an animal, that there could be any sort of issue. But yeah, I'm the same way. But yeah,
I think Sparky was the only dog that ever got brought back to life that died.
Wait,
like Sparky the dog.
From
Michael, John Travolta.
Oh God, I haven't thought of that forever. That was a good flick.
That was. I kind of wanted. I hate reboots and remakes, but I just laughed to myself where if like Michael was being made again, or an Angel movie like that was being made again, I would love to be in that or do that. Because Gabriel was an archangel as well. It's just like, let's do that one.
Oh, that'd be cool.
I know that'd be so, and I'm like, I got the perfect dad bod for it. Let's go.
I'm gonna have to look that up again. I haven't seen that in so long. I liked that movie. Yeah, there's so much good stuff. There just really is. You just got to find it. And my mantra is, if I start it and it sucks and I'm in 10, 15 minutes and I'm still not in, I'm out. I'm not wasting my time, whatever. You got to pull me in, just basic kind of stuff. But yeah, so to me,
said that before about Dune on our last podcast, where I was trying to watch Dune. It was on HBO. I'm like, oh, it's Dune. I thought it was Dunce originally, the way it was spelled. And I'm like, what's Dunce? Dunk? Oh, Dune? They forgot the third little pecker.
I think they did. Yeah.
So, I didn't even give it a chance yet. I think it was with Chalamet or something like that. And what a name. It sounds like a dessert. All right.
With whip topping.
Yeah, it's like, you want Chalamet with whip? Yes, I do.
Something.
But I agree. Like some movies, like right off the top, it depends. Like some, either I get intrigued, maybe a little bit seduced, or I'm just not interested,
Yep. There's the rare times, it's kind of different with the book, though. There's a rare times when I'm an avid reader, book a day, possibly. But you have, sometimes you can tell there's like little flashes that there's something interesting that the author, I like the way they word something or put something in there, and then a drone. I'll make myself go for it. And I have, I don't know, 50% of the time it picks up and it's awesome. And, and it gets me in, but I'm less likely to do that with a flick. I guess it's just a different, sort of thing, but you never know. It's best to really, I think this is the clue. Start out right away, pull them in. Then you can have a little time where, you get the background stuff in, but you gotta. Did you see Nope? No.
Yeah, I did actually.
What did you think?
At first I wasn't sure, but it really had its moments, and it was very mysterious. You ever like when somebody dies and it's just like it's unfortunate, but it kind of like they do it in a way where it's sort of like he dies and the execution of his death was sort of like preventable, or even if they kind of like made it like, damn it, filmmaking's hard. Cause like I think his like certain deaths, like the main camera guy, the manner in which he died. And I'm like, it made sense that he would die, but how he died and the way it was shown that he died, it's just like, fuck, there goes a really good movie. And, it was just like a really cool concept.
That wasn't fully fleshed out. That's how I feel like it was like vignettes or whatever. And there was some great acting, it's funny. And you just you got the feel of the people, but there was too many
100%.
drone parts and it didn't connect.
The writing was 1,000% there. Like I saw, like if I were reading that story and my imagination was engaged, it's the script is awesome. And when it just comes to like, I think execution, I don't think the ball was dropped. I think it was just underdeveloped, Yes,
that's what I just watched it last night. That's when I'm just, but to me, it's just been on my mind. And I'm like, there's something there that's still there. They should just take that and take the best of what they got and then expound on that and really make a great film, because I do believe it has that potential. That's interesting.
It's part honest, like what was it? Key from Key and Peele wrote it. Was it? Or was it is Peele? Because honestly, it's Peele.
Yeah.
Okay. Phenomenal show, by the way.
Oh my gosh! Shut up! I can't.
Oh my no!
No.
Oh gosh.
It's too good.
They're the Bud Abbott and Lou Costello of our generation.
Oh my gosh!
They got the dynamic duo stolen. 100% true. I don't care who you are.
I agree.
So it's like I think even like he did, like horror is a very complicated and tough film to pull off. I think it's not a matter of inexperience. He's definitely got the writing down. I don't know if it's a directorial thing or just sort of like you win a couple of football games, but for some reason you're not really quite locking in the playoffs and the Super Bowl yet.
Like the Vikings,
like it's I think consistency is key. That he's going to learn a lot from it and maybe even get some real feedback from legit directors where it's just going to like bridge those gaps. That's just going to like clean it up. And I think Peele is going to bring some really awesome,
agree.
Developed, complete.
Yes. And there's not many films that I watch that I'm like, oh, and now they're zipping over. And I'm like, oh, I would just kind of go, darn. And then I get sucked in a little thing. And then I'd go, oh, darn, if they would. But it's like this film, you're just like, there's so many sparks of really good stuff in there, like you said. And it just, I wish they would just, do what I said and redo it and take the best and expound it, because I think it could be up there. I really do. Very good.
Fun. I mean, I enjoyed it. I'm like, that spaceship is alive. So that was kind of, I mean, that concept was actually kind of cool, there was a lot more cool about that movie than not. And I'm just like, I wonder if the movie could have been just as good without the chimpanzee scene, or was there something, some like, did that take away or add to the story,
And where it was stuck in, where in the film it was stuck in felt just
I might have just
I
totally
didn't
missed
feel like it was in
something.
the right spot. I'm just like, now I'm just like, what, and
Well, there was
I
a
don't
story.
know.
I mean, it was a story about an animal killing,
I know,
to a
but
sub story about an animal killing, but I don't think it would have been put in there without trying to establish a relationship between that event and what's happening presently, unless I just totally missed something, um,
I don't know.
because there was a reason for it, but
Yeah,
that
it's just the
actor
way
who
it
played
was.
that
Yeah.
child, I don't know, it was like a kid on a children's show. How does that contribute to the present story?
Mhm.
I mean,
Yes.
like, I don't
That's
know.
what yes, exactly.
Things like that.
Exactly.
I think that's part of the development process, There's certain
Yeah.
things you could use and don't use. And I think of everything like decorating a Christmas tree. There's got to be a little bit of a theme, maybe sometimes if you want to really do with some style, or if you have
Totally.
just like everything to me is a Christmas tree. I
Mhm.
love Christmas, by the way. Like, does this add to the tree? Are we going to thank the tree? Does the tree
You
tell
would annoy the hell out of me. I was doing a tree with you. I'd be like, oh, for God's sakes.
I'm sorry. Like, I
Just
just,
put the damn thing up there and let's go have a beer. Okay. No, I have to rearrange.
why do we have candles on the tree when it's already lit? I'm just saying, like, are we doing a period piece now? I don't know. You tell me. I don't know.
Well, the house burns down. Now you're on, investigation, whatever, discovery, whatever. So
And that's happened here in Astoria, Queens. Christmas
I
tree
know.
caught fire.
Horrible.
Right on Steinway. It cost a woman her life savings, her home, the mixed martial art building downstairs. It was a mess.
Yeah, no candles on the tree, people. The faulty way.
Well, there was no candles on the tree.
I know.
The tree
I'm all
just
paranoid about the tree going up because I have to unplug it before I go to bed or we'll end up dead. So I have that in my brain.
Jeez. But, I mean, just be careful. And, you got to learn from your mistakes. And I think
Yep.
like what Appeal is going to be doing, I think it's only going to get better,
I do too. I was
do too.
impressed overall. I like the feel of it. I think he's talented, definitely. So
Before that,
I'm
it's
gonna
like,
have to kind of. I have dinner and I can tell. I think it's gonna burn. Is it okay if we?
I don't want to. Yeah, we'll wrap it up. And usually
This has
when we
been great.
thank you so much for coming on the show. You're an absolute delight, Karen.
I
I'm
appreciate
excited to
it,
actually
Bill.
see. I want to like it. We got 900 members in the club. If you need readers, like we can just do a run through on a Sunday and just like hear it out.
Oh, you're awesome. That would be great. Oh my
Please do.
gosh. Thank
No,
you.
we got-
I'm
yeah,
so
the AFC
glad.
records.
Thanks for reaching out to me. I appreciate it. It's wonderful meeting you.
Usually
I
we
love your
end,
whole thing.
thank you. We end every show with a little bit of a something called the right words at the right time. And it all stemmed from Marcy Hopkins' book, The Right Words at the Right Time. Her name was Marcy Thompson or Thomas at the time, but I think recently she got married. So basically, it's a collective of books of celebrities who just literally had the right words at the right time that really carried with them since they heard those words all the way up into that day that helped them sort of persevere. So
Cool.
my curiosity is, has anybody ever said to you the right words at the right time? Because if not, do you have any words of your own?
I've had several times where people have said that. With mine, it's more like, I don't know. I know I'm going too deep on this, but to me, it's like, it's when you're in the moment, like and sometimes you're like, I can't do this anymore, or you get a rejection, whatever, and you're like, I'm done. That is it. I'm not going to even whatever. And then something flies and you're like, but just when I felt that feeling, like I'm done. I can't do this. I thought I'd get something, whatever. And somebody will reach out. I can't tell you the words, but it's some sort of thing like, oh, I just saw your thing on this and we want you out of the blue. It's often out of the blue. I didn't even whatever. And it's just, you just think maybe it just seems to me, actors, especially, it is words like that'll take you from there's a situation or a word that will make you think. Someone will go, oh, my mom, I loved you in that commercial where my mom just thought you're so funny and loved your, but just out of it, someone says something like that. And then you're like, you just feel like you want to grab it. It's an affirmation. And my thing is, don't, like you said too, gosh, each day is a new day. It's okay to feel if you're rejected or something and there's something you really thought you'd get, but you can't swim and wallow in it. If you're going to do that, just get out of it for real. You have to be able to go, okay, I'm going to, I tell my husband this too, just look forward, apply for stuff, do your best, look forward, don't look back. Did they hire anyone yet? Who's doing that? Oh, because all that does is that screws you over. It screws you over inside, karma, the whole thing. My big thing now is if I'm supposed to get it, please help me get it. Please help me do the best job I can possibly do for them. And not wallow in the rejections, because there's a ton of them. And that's just part of it. Does a lot of words. I don't know what the hell I said.
I know your words are definitely true,
Yeah.
Don't let it get you down. Rejection is honestly just an acceptance of something else.
And it is going to get you down. So I can't say don't, but to me, it's like, okay, I get this. I can be upset and pissed off for a day if it's a biggie, that's it then. But I allow myself to go, gosh, darn it, my family has to listen. Why didn't they, whatever? Or you know how you do that and you work through that kind of a thing. But I can't keep doing that after a certain time because that's not fair to them or to me. So it's more just like, let yourself have the time to go, this sucks. This sucks. This sucks. Get it out and then just forget about it. Don't look how the project went. Don't just keep going forward. To me, that's saved my life. It's the only way to do it.
I get it. No, I really do. And thank you for sharing that. I really hope somebody actually heard what you said and just,
I mean that seriously. Yeah, it's real. They can
let it go.
Sharing it,
Yeah, don't carry it because, you're really going to spoil the next opportunity.
And everyone does have something to offer in one way or another. In some way you'll get to it as long as you, do your best and keep going forward. Somehow like the veering off thing, like you, being the podcast host for right now, you're supposed to be doing this. You've inspired me and you do a great job and it's going to just propel your career. I know it. It all works together.
Together.
All right, fine. I have to go save my dinner. My husband's going to kill me.
On that note, oh my God, Karen Laven, everybody, the Raven herself. Thank you so much for coming on the show. I can't wait to, honestly, I can't wait to do a read through with you. I would love to hear this story. It actually sounds like a great comedy of a horror that's a bunch of little rascals maybe trying to do it. They're all kids. They're not adults. They're kids trying to make a movie.
Always.
And always remember to never forget, ladies and gentlemen, community, creativity, and joy. That is our show. We'll see you next time.
Amen. Thanks, Phil.
Ciao, Miss Karen.
Bye-bye.